What's going on, guys? So this video, we're gonna really try to get this thing going now. In the last video, we put that Springer front end on there, that 21-inch spool front wheel, the 16-inch rear wheel with the Firestone tires. We kind of mocked up a kickstand just for shits and giggles. Front end is all good. We got the spacers for those spool hub wheels that work with these motor irons, so I didn't have to mess with those. Those were great. The only thing I don't want to say not happy with, but I guess me being really picky about stuff, I'm gonna want to polish these up. They look all right, but like as you can see with the chrome here, it's more of a satin look, and I want them to definitely be polished up more. So when I do the final, put together on the bike, I'll probably take the time to sand those down and polish them up, and they just kind of feel just raw, just kind of gritty. So that's the only thing I don't like about them. I got them from TC Bros. They're great. I'm not knocking them at all. I just want to put that out there. So if guys are getting them, just know that they're not super smooth or anything like that. If you want them like show quality polish, you'll have to do that. So it's not a big deal. They're not listed as a show quality product piece or anything like that. So that's nothing on them. Like I said, just want to let you guys know. So I didn't really get over it or go over it in the last video. I kept saying I was going to, but I never got there. The rear wheel on this bike, the bearings, I had an issue with on a Facebook group I was in. I was looking up and they all recommended these bearings to work with a Harley wheel for the XS650 axle. So the reason why I have to use the axle with this, I don't have to, but it was, to me, I just felt like it was an easier and, I don't know, just more appropriate option. These TC Bros hardtails, the insert here that the axle goes into fits a 20 millimeter. And if you try to put a 3/4 axle in this, you're gonna have a lot of play. So they make adapters that you can put over the end and they fit in here. But I don't like that. I'd rather just use the axle of the XS650, which is 20 millimeters, instead of the 3/4 axle. And you can buy these sealed bearings. Can't really see them in this real good, but I'll show you what we ended up actually getting for them. But get the sealed bearing. And the only other issue I'm working with right now, sit you down for a second, I'll show you. So the ones in there now, the problem with them, they work because they are the outer diameter to fit the hub, which is, double check my notes here. I don't want to do you guys wrong. So the outer diameter on those are 52 millimeters. And I needed the inner diameter of these bearings to be 20 millimeters instead of 3/4, like the Harley bearings. Well, the ones that I bought, the width was 15 millimeters. And I didn't even bother checking that because I just kind of took the word of the internet, which really do your research. I know it's hard sometimes. You can only find so much and you got to go off what you got to do. So it's kind of what I did. And I'd never had to buy specific spacer or bearings like this before. I've just always been able to go in and tell them, model, make the model, what I needed. So I just didn't think about the width. I just thought it would be correct. And I went to go, when I had the tires put on, I was just gonna go ahead and have them pull the other ones out and press them in for me. I didn't have to worry about it. And he told me they weren't right. And I was like, well, what do you mean they're not right? I wanted to make sure he understood, like, I know the inner diameter is not the same. If that's what you're saying, like, he's like, no, they're not wide enough. And I was like, okay. And so when I showed up at the shop, I'll show you when I pull one of those out here later. This is what is supposed to be in there, which is a 21 millimeter width, and the ones I got were a 15 millimeter. So I had to order these. These were definitely more expensive. I got the pack of the other ones for a pack of 2 for $12.50. And these last ones I got, let me look here. I think they were like, I bought them cheaper than this, but now they're $39.99 a piece, so they're definitely more expensive. But like I said before, I like putting the correct bearings in there and doing that rather than trying to put that adapter in the slot for the axle. The only other issue I'm having right now, which isn't too big a deal, but the inner spacer in the hub itself is for 3/4. And I mean, I've only done so much time researching it right now, and I haven't found it yet. So maybe I just haven't looked in the right place, but I've had a hell of a time finding a 20mm inner diameter space, or just pipe that I can cut to size or whatever for using for that inner spacer or the outer wheel spacers. That's why in that last video I talked to you guys about this aluminum one, and obviously I don't want to keep aluminum on there. I want to have, you know, like a polished stainless steel spacers if I can, but I'm just going to use this for mock-up purposes. But right now, like, once I press those bearings in there, I got to have something in there. So unfortunately I don't have access to a lathe or know how to use one. So my options right now are, there's a shop in town that I'm gonna hit up and see what he'll do for me, if he'll, you know, get this out to, it's actually 20.05 that it needs to be, and that's what those bearings are. They are advertised as 20mm, but you know, you gotta have space for tolerance. So if he can get that board out for me, then it would be perfect, because it's already cut to size for that hub, for the bearings, for that wheel. So I'm gonna see what kind, or what that would cost in the meantime, and then at least get that in there. And then, like I said, we're gonna mock up using the spacers with this aluminum one, just so I can get an idea where it needs to be, and I can, if it's wrong, I'm not cutting a nice stainless steel spacer up. So that's kind of my issue now. I'll obviously update once I figure out the solution permanently on what we're gonna do with that. But that's the whole dilemma with the rear wheel. It's really not, to me, that big a deal. Like, I thought it was going to be a lot harder to get that wheel to fit, but after doing that research, it really wasn't that hard. It just got the wrong bearings first. So I'll link them in the description, the ones you need and the ones that they told me to get. So the ones they told me to get were a 6304 2RS. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Let's see. And they were the Timken bearings, and those are the ones that were too narrow, and I couldn't even find the Timkens in this size. And these are the ones you really need, are the 62304A 2RSRs. So while editing the video and showing you those bearings, I realized I lost some footage. So like I said, I just showed you those two bearings, and I want to make it very clear that I'm running a 16-inch Harley wheel for a 2000 to 2003 Sportster hub size. So like, all this bearing stuff I'm going over and everything, make sure you're getting the correct bearings for your application. Not all Harley bearings are exactly the same. Yada yada, like, different axles on different bikes are going to be different sizes too, so just double check your bearing sizes like I should have done in the beginning. Just cross-reference with the size hub you got, things you need. I also didn't get to explain what I was going to go over next, so you're getting ready to see the handlebars for the first time. They are 16-inch ape hangers from, I got them from Throttle Addiction, and some Flanders risers. So I'll go ahead and get back to what I originally filmed and show you those on the bike now, and then go from there. So we got the handlebars on there for now. I may adjust them a little bit later, and I gotta do some tweaking to the risers and stuff, but for now, that's the way they're gonna sit. And now that I got those on there, I'll show you a couple more views real quick of it. We're gonna put this seat on there. So this is what we're gonna be running for a seat. and we've got 5-inch springs for them. I wanted some tall springs, so I don't want the seat to sit down like this. I want it to sit pretty well level, and it's got some weight on it at least. Because I've ridden some bikes that have some seats that kind of go down. It's not the most comfortable thing. You're sliding back on the fender a lot. So wanted something taller. I thought maybe once I got it and tried to hold it up, it might be ended up being too tall, but I think we're going to be able to make them work. I've got to grind off those tacks that come on here and move that pipe back a little bit, which is no big deal, but we'll do that and then try to figure out exactly where we want to mount this. I'm thinking about trying to do it somewhere below right here. Just not quite sure yet. As you can see, like, I've been trying to fill all that in. I'm gonna keep filling in a little bit and grind it down nice and smooth where it looks pretty. But so yeah, I think I might put it somewhere about right here and just have the seat come back and have this rod probably closer to maybe about right there. Just kind of depends. If you don't know, these seats can be adjusted this way, so I don't have to have the pipe necessarily in the perfect position. I can adjust a little bit. It just depends on how far. I obviously don't want it sticking out like that. About right there's the most uncomfortable with the look of it, but I'd rather have it tucked about as much as possible. So we'll get that mounted up and kind of go from there, and we'll come back to you guys with what we figured out. Let's see. I don't know all of what I'm going to put in this video. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff sitting on the bench right now. I have the tank, I have the rear fender, what other parts do I got over there? I guess we got the seat, the disc. You've seen all that. Right now, I guess that's pretty much all we got for the bike as far as big parts. But I don't want to pack too much in this video. I might have to do a little bit for a different one. Or I can at least show you guys what we got, but I'll have to put some of them on in a different video. Super excited to get the tank mounted up, but got to figure out what I'm going to do for the bungs. Whether I'm going to just try to make my own or order some in. Just depends on how I want to do it, I guess. I've thought about just drilling in some pipe and doing it that way, but making it nice and smooth so it fits the contour of the pipe of the frame. So anyways, like I said, we're going to go ahead and try to get this seat mounted up next, and I want to be pretty particular about that. So that may take me a while, and we'll see how that goes and decide where we're going to go from there. So stick around and I'll keep you updated as we go through what I've decided to do. So we got the rear seat all installed. Really like how it turned out. I wasn't sure there for a while. I just ignore all that. I just filled in a couple spots. I got to grind down and make flush. I just wanted to fill some holes, but I ended up putting the deal right here. I really wanted it to sit level. I don't want to be sliding off the back. Kind of like I said earlier, that's why I got these taller springs. It does sit really good. I sat on it and bounced on it as hard as I could too, just to make sure that I had it good and sturdy. I did have to bring this support back. You can see right here where that tack that I hadn't ground off yet. The pipe was up here, so we did move it back a decent amount, but not a big deal. That's why it's only tacked on there, so you can move it. It's pretty easy. I just tapped it with a hammer a couple times on each side and broke it loose, so nice and easy. I've got these bars that I was saying earlier I got some issues with. Don't exactly know how I'm going to do it yet. The riser studs are coming up through here, kind of not letting these bars clamp down correctly, so I'm going to have to figure out some of that, whether I take some of that away on that stud itself or whatnot. And when I do that, it's going to bring it down too onto this nut. So I may have to put some washers like underneath here. If I can just get a decent thick washer for that, it'll probably work. But I'm just not exactly sure yet how I'm gonna do that, because I really don't want to have to put a washer underneath there, but we'll see how it looks and where I go from there. But anyways, that's another thing we're gonna have to work on and fix, but not a big issue, nothing in the world. I believe now I'm gonna go ahead and get the motor in there. If I have to take it back out, not too big of a deal, but I really want to get it in there because it's not really going to be in the way anymore to put like the tank or the fender or any of that other stuff on, and it gets it off the bench and out of the way and back in the bike. And that also will allow me to, if I want to work on making the foot pegs and stuff like that, knowing where I can go off of that stuff. The rear disc, I took the rear wheel off and I was gonna put the disc on it now, another thing just to get off the bench. Obviously I couldn't do anything with it right this second on there because I don't have a caliper or anything, but I didn't end up having I had a set of brand new rotor bolts, but they were for a front wheel, so they weren't the right size, so I couldn't get that on there tonight. So not a big deal. Like I said, it doesn't need to be on there right now anyways. It was really just to get it off the bench, get it on the bike, get as many parts as I can on this thing, get it rolling. So get going on it. I'd like to have it done, for this summer to be able to ride around and enjoy it. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera down again, put this motor in there, and after that, we'll probably call it quits for this video. I won't have too much more, so I'm gonna save the tank and the fender for next week for a surprise. I don't want to give that away yet. It's another really big reveal for me, at least. I think it is. I'm super excited about the tank and stuff. So let's go ahead and, like I said, I'll put you down. Show you what I did and got done today, and we'll go ahead and move on and see you guys in the next video. But first, like I said, I've already got the seat on. I got the motor in the bike, but what I didn't tell you guys is I got a set of pipes, and I went ahead and put them on there. I just wanted to see where they were going to sit so I can start mounting up, forward controls and all that stuff when I want to. Probably going to take these back off though, and put the original pipes on just so they don't get knocked up and dinged up and stuff. Bought these off Marketplace from an older gentleman who made them himself. They're a lot like the hot rod exhaust that TC Bro makes for these bikes, but they're already chromed, and I really like them. He even included the brand new flanges with them, so couldn't beat that. Also, I realized after looking at the rear wheel, as you can see, I got the brake disc on there now. It didn't fit because that wheel came off the Sportster, as I said, and the disc and sprocket are swapped on that as to what it is on this. So I wasn't thinking about that, and I was trying to put it in the sprocket holes, and that's why the bolts weren't fitting. So I did think I had the right bolts, so I did. So I went ahead and did that, put that on. Luckily, it's not a directional tire, and also luckily, it doesn't matter because I got to space this back wheel out anyways. But anyways, that's the way she sits now. I think it's coming right along and it's looking really good. I'm super stoked to have what I have done on it now, but we still got a long ways to go. Here pretty soon we're gonna start getting into a lot more just detail work on it, and that'll be fun, but also very time consuming. So a couple days later, showed you the engine, the pipes. I'm gonna go ahead and do the outro for this video. I worked out here the other day just a little bit on the sissy bar, so I'll show you kind of what I started with that real quick first. and then we'll go through our outro. So I just welded the tabs on here at the bottom, and I also worked on spacing the rear wheel a little bit. I cut the spacers, the aluminum spacers I had that I showed you guys before, and set in the other bearings for now, and just got it where it would be aligned for the chain. And I really wanted to, I don't have a sprocket yet, so I just took an old brake disc just so I can put the chain on it, and I just got it kind of zip tied together. That way I can put pressure on it, and when I had the back wheel up in the air, I just kind of would pull it, and it was pretty straight and true, so I like that. I also had it to where I could put the fender on here to kind of see where that's going to line up for the sissy bar. So like I said, I got the tabs down here welded and mounted up for that. I just kind of mocked up a little bit of, you know, what it'll look like with that sissy bar on there. The next video we will go over the rear fender. I've got some more stuff coming, but I don't know if it'll get here in time for the next video. So for sure we'll be doing the rear fender, and I've kind of got a unique idea for what I'm going to do with this area down here, and as far as a fender mount for the bottom half here. So we'll kind of go over that too, and that might take a little extra time in that video. So like I said, just kind of depends on when the parts come in, what exactly we'll be going over, but it'll for sure be over the rear fender. I also got some news to announce. Let me set you back down here. Got some t-shirts coming out. So if you haven't noticed already, I've got a t-shirt. I'll have the link down below, the website, you can go buy them. Go support that business too, check it out. There's a bunch of different t-shirts in there, but I'll have it linked directly to this shirt if you guys are interested and want to check it out. It has just a logo on the front, it's pocket tee, and then the logo on the back. So you'll see it, we'll be wearing it in some of our videos every once in a while now. And like I said, if you guys are interested, go ahead and go swipe them up, help support the channel so we can keep rolling on this chopper build. And also check out that t-shirt company, Smack Talk Threads is the ones making them for us. We're also going to have a couple other cool things coming out too, just small stuff. I'll kind of show you more of that in the next video. But for now, this is what this video is going to be. And go ahead and end it off by taking a shot. First off, I want to let you guys know, if you haven't noticed already or haven't watched it, on Tuesdays from now on we're going to be doing a YouTube short with a little whiskey tasting. I don't really do any reviews. It's not enough time in a 60-second short, so I just kind of tell you what the whiskey is, maybe a little bit about it, and then we try it, and then that's it. But that'll be every Tuesday from now on, and these videos will come out every Friday as long as content provides. So anyways, thanks for joining us again. Thanks everybody for the support so far. Really having fun doing these. Now we're getting on a roll. This chopper's coming along. So until next time, take a shot.